off the plane. They both weathered the pain with postcards, and they prayed for some co-stars. Had a baby like Mozart, guitar virtuoso like Tom Morello with Zach De La Rocha. While I did homework pronto on the sofa reading Roll Dog. Booted up the console, one controller for my Road Dog. Ride with Koji Kondo, then with Toadstool in my go-kart. Broha throwing combos, going postal, yelling, oh, drug! Hoping Papa don't preach like he usually do. Make a big speech, he a choosy dude, yeah. And mama cook, eats like a goosey soup. Right before sleep, I love Lucy too. Now we singing Nick at Night. The place for TV hits. Now I'm tripping like I'm Dick Van Dyke. Damn, I miss when we were kids. Steady tripping like, let's go away for a while. I'm a child. It's a strange and distant land where we only speak the truth. Everyone understands how we play back in the day. Yeah, instead of bitches and hoes, we talk glitches and hoes and plot twists and the pros of the Mach 6. With steady giggles and lows, we went through each of the shows on Fox. Kids wanna slow the clock's ticks, passing time, talking Skywalker, Cyclops or Cyberman, Arkham Asylum, and vibe where the sidewalking. Style to MacGyver, to Pride Rock, to Frylocking. Fights with Nuke Cybot or Psylocke and Psyduck. I spent a summer overdosing on Pokemon, chilling with my brother on the sofa while home alone. Anytime it thunder, then we wanna run close to mom. I remember posting with my bros in Hiroshima. Yeah, whether Christmas or it's Halloween, fuck a distance, they will always be a part of me. If life a RPG, I want them in my party. We a army, thick as Heifer Filbert in the modern Wallaby. We gotta be. Let's go away for a while. I'm a child. It's a strange and distant land where we only speak the truth. Everyone understands how we play back in the day. Let's go away for a while. I'm a child. It's a strange and distant land where we only speak the truth. Everyone understands how we play back in the day.
All right, we'll be starting in just a moment. Thank you for hanging out.
Start it off like this. Let's do it.
Shout out to the military. That's who you're listening to right now.
Stuck in between the comment, no comment, kamikaze. Feeling the force still in my body, trying to stop me from what's probably, well, definitely my purpose and further excursion. I'm fighting on the stage and somebody's closing a curtain. Is it for certain I'm what the gifted and curses? I'm living multiple verses, not trying to be less assertive. Is it a problem the girl is Persian, will be converted? Endurance can't curb it, static, I know you heard it. I know you heard it. I know you heard it. Heard it. I know you heard it. I know you heard it. They fight to manifest the malice of my inner demons. I fight to get a grip and find the source of where the fiend is. They're pushing to prey on something that they've never eaten. They don't see we've been growing, I'm here still searching with heathens. My chakras beaming too nice, with it at my meanest. I'm gripping the right demeanor, so sick of the light just leaving. Dipping my feet and beat with the monster you're feeding. Too many cash and a greed and half stepping, they keep me screaming. So done grabbing onto them bump beats. It's been a journey, but I see I'm on to something. Still uphill, but I ain't giving up for nothing. Seeing these consumers are losing all too trusting. After you awaken my upheavals, I must seek. Stepped into many sessions, speaking, seeing I must lead. Energy vampires try, but they can't touch me. And each moment is about a stupid and strong thing. About a stupid and strong thing. About a stupid and strong thing. getting this shit from you.
Okay.
I can't take no shit from ya.
Okay.
Now taking this shit from you.
Okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
I want to talk. I want to talk my heart out. I want to talk because I want to talk about how does it feel as a female, as a human, as a being.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. The Hijack. Thank you for being a part of the program. Had some technical difficulties there, and I'm also having a hard time hearing myself here. I think I'm having some issues here. What's going on? I'm hoping y'all could hear me okay. Let me see here. Let's take a look. I have everything running off of one computer. Oh wow, holy cow. This is not even close to where we are right now. Holy cow. So, we have a lot of really cool stuff coming up, and this is the Hijack Throwback series. So, I appreciate you being a part of it, whether you're listening to it live, whether you are listening to it on the rebroadcast on Facebook Live, or you're downloading it or you're streaming it on any of the platforms in which you can find the Hijack, or you could go to the N.FM. If you go to the N.FM, that right there is your best bet to find everything the N.FM, DJ Zouain, the Hijack related. So thank you so much for being a part of the program so far. My name is DJ Zouain, and today we have a very special show. The reason I say that, and all of our shows, all of our whatchamacallits, anything that we do as far as interviews are concerned are special. And in this particular case, this is no different. In fact, this one is probably more special than most because I grew up in the rollerblading world, specifically aggressive inline skating, which is a specific subset of aggressive inline skating, or of inline skating, where you go to ramps and stuff like that. A lot of us were given crap from the skateboarding community, and actually the sport rollerblading itself was so incredibly popular that it became the fastest growing participation sport in all of history. But participation sport meaning not a team sport. So being a part of something like that at the very almost beginning, I would say the second or even maybe third generation, depending on who you ask, it was a real privilege and it was a treat. And to have somebody like Chris Edwards, this is one of the first poster child for Rollerblade. He is known for his air and his verts, his vert ramp technique and his style. This will hopefully be a series of different interviews that we are doing where we showcase all of the greats in rollerblading and in other extreme sports. But rollerblading was where I grew up. That's my I'm kind of partial to it. Rollerblading as a sport was very much treated like the outcast. It was actually, you couldn't be more punk rock than to be a rollerblader in the 90s, because it was an underground sport that was just getting started. The establishment was hating it because the skateboarder, and it's really not the individual skateboarders, it was more the marketing of the skateboarding companies. So the big corporate people were seeing a big drop in the numbers of in their numbers, in their bottom line, which sucks for them, but it was great for us. And we had all the spotlight, and we're going to talk about all of that here with Chris Edwards, who joined me just a few months ago, maybe a couple of months ago. And since then, I told him that I was going to get back into it. And something about when you talk to a childhood hero of yours that tells you to basically get back into skating because he's doing it and he's older than me. And what am I going to do? Say no? Am I going to say no? No. So I am now, rocking the Razors. So big up to Doom Crew and Razors and stuff. Also, I need to bring back, in fact, next week, I'm going to have a conversation live with Chris Edwards to catch me up on everything that he's doing, both with Birth, his brand that he is relaunching now, one of the OG rollerblade owned brands, rollerblader owned brands. And actually, I'm rocking one of his shirts. This is a Birth shirt by Larry Fagan, Lurch. He, and actually $5 of every one of these goes to a suicide prevention nonprofit. So we're going to be doing some work with him and hopefully with the rollerblading community when it comes to mental health and mental health awareness. We lost Bryan Bell just a few years ago, one of the rollerblading greats. And then obviously my baby brother JJ, who was arguably a better skater than I was. I mean, I loved skating. I was never a I had a lot of skater friends that were way better than me. But you know what? At the age of almost 40, I'm 39 right now. If I put it this way: if I could ride a half pipe at 39. I'm happy, and so that is the goal here. The goal is to actually be able to do those things. Be able to you want to be able to keep yourself young, and I found that I am never feeling younger than when I'm with a pair of blades, just riding around at a skate park. And yeah, so I'm glad that rollerblading is coming back. There's a big comeback. A lot of stuff from like the 90s, because the 90s, it's far enough away that the 90s are cool. And as somebody who was in, his coming of age time right there in the 90s, I saw rollerblading, take off, and I'm proud to say, much like with the hardcore scene in that time and the individual scenes and communities that we all were a part of growing up. It's nice to know that I was part of that very unique, very individual, very niche community at its birth, and now with the owner of Birth and also the one of the godfathers of the sport, having starting next week repeat appearances right here on the Hijack. It's a big honor, and frankly, 16-year-old me would be getting tired of high-fiving me if I went back in time and told him all of the cool stuff that is happening. Obviously coronavirus and all of that stuff, barring all of that. But without further ado, I am proud to present to you the replay, the Hijack Throwback of my interview, my conversation with the great Chris Edwards, right here on the Hijack. Thank you. Welcome back to the Hijack. My name is DJ Zouain, and my next guest is a rollerblading legend. BMX had Dave Mira, rest in peace. Skateboarding had Tony Hawk, and many would say rollerblading had Chris Edwards. Chris, how are you, man?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing?
Man, I am good. Just dealing with technical issues. I appreciate your patience. 16-year-old me would be losing his shit right now, because my first memory of you of you skating is actually the 97 X Games. I remember a camera shot of your knee during a vert competition. To me, that was just mind blowing that you were still competing with that knee. You left the spotlight like what in 07 or 08?
Yeah, right around there.
Yeah.
I was still doing some stuff. I moved down to Pittsburgh. Uh, we tried building a skate park. It just didn't quite work out. The city started building a bunch of free stuff. So it was like right during that kind of big transition where all the municipalities were finally accepting skate parks and building them. So to have an outdoor skate park that you charge admission to did not go over very well. So I think the timing was just a little bad. So I got a plethora of children I had to feed, so I started a contracting company and just started working, and it started growing, and I just needed to focus on that for a bit, take care of the family. You know, skating had taken a little bit of a dive. There's been a lot of great people that have like stuck around and were in probably a better position than I was in at that moment to help keep us moving and then keep the community alive and pushing forward, like John Julio and many others, man, like Matthias from Power Slide and USD, man, they've done a stellar job. So I just been taking care of my family, and then now there seems to be like a nice fresh new wave like swelling now. So I'm back in to kind of help fill a couple of lanes that haven't been filled yet through the past decade.
I love it. I think it's great that that you're back in. I mean, because I always obviously all of this stuff we got into it before social media, and then once social media started going off, the first thing that I did when I was growing up was like let me see what the heroes of mine that were like out there, and you start following them on social media, and it's so cool to see everybody evolve. And I've also grew up in the punk rock community and the punk rock scene quite a bit here, and one of the things that I see is like the people in the music communities like growing up, like what do punk kids look like when they have to have a job, when they have to have things. So
I think a lot of times, if that's your heart and soul and that's your passion, you just maintain it through life. I mean, I stepped out of the spotlight, but it felt pretty good. I was really thrown into the spotlight at a young age, and I was like, one of the very first poster childs. I was definitely the first poster child of Rollerblade Incorporated, which
no
was
doubt
the biggest company. I had 7-8 pro skates out there. I had being traveled all around the globe. I was living out of a suitcase. I lived out of a suitcase damn near 2 decades. So
insane.
So this was like the first stint in my life, really, since I was a young kid. Pretty much since I was like 14 years old, I started traveling, and this was like the first stint, like I said, in my life that I was actually kind of stood still for a minute, and it felt good. But now, I just feel there's a need to get back in. I never stopped skating. I definitely never lost the passion and the love for skating. I mean, it's like it's so ingrained in me, man. I am rollerblading, man. I love it.
For sure. You should, you should come out with a T-shirt that says "I am rollerblading," because I got to tell you, I grew up, like when I say I grew up watching you skate, like one of my buddies in the Dominican Republic had the tarmac CEs with the metal grinding plates, and I was sweating that grinding plates for those new school guys. Grinding plates were something that we actually had to put on our skates in order to grind.
That's right.
That's not a thing anymore. I hear, because I'm getting back into it.
No, now it's like the H blocks have really taken over, which is great. But and then nobody really managed to handle those H plates those metal H plates that I put on my tarmacs. I'm a wild kid.
You know what? They were good for, in my opinion, when I rode them, they were good for the metal rails.
Yeah, it feels awesome.
But that was it.
They were great for transitions, and they were good to go down a rail. But but still, like right on the top. Like now that that like locks your skate in. It's and that was really probably that evolution really came from like Arlo and the wrenches, like where he took the wrenches from the box and then was able to create that groove. So that's really the evolution from that brainchild that Arlo and that Senate crew really pushed on and did some really great things for our technology.
Dude, Senate, Senate, obviously one of the pioneer brands of right there with Rollerblade and Medium and Rise Above and all these other brands that were like, I mean, in my opinion, the first gen. What is that?
I said in birth.
Oh, and birth. Yeah. Well, what is the like? So I guess Rollerblade would be the first one. I had the recreational version of the Lightnings before I had the Lightnings. I had the Zetra blades, and then I went from that to the Lightnings, and from the Lightnings to the Tarmacs, and then from the Tarmacs, I think I jumped to like Oxygen 3.1s or something. But you were one of the first people to. You were actually putting it like. This was before rollerblading was even underground. You were doing it. So, like, you were probably catching more shit than we were at the skate parks when you were rolling up in rollerblades from the skateboarders, right?
Man, back then I think it was so new, so there wasn't really that like weird animosity that really kicked in yet. I had friends that skateboard. I mostly had friends that rode bikes. Like, I mean, that's like really why I'm a bit of a biker blader, I'm a go big or go home kind of skater. And I take everything at 100 miles an hour, and I do big gaps and things that I'd be chasing guys on bikes around,
Yeah,
I skated at Mike McGill's skate park. Mike McGill was always really great to me. He always let me in. Always was encouraged. I was able to watch him and learn the McTwist and put it into skating through him. And I got to skate with Danny Way. I got to skate with Tony Hawk. Like, I mean, we did demos and all kinds of great things together in the very early days. And I think the animosity built up once we started getting so popular. We became like what I guess people can relate to today as scooter kids that were just overtaking parks with absolutely no ethics or any kind of like, etiquette. Sorry, not ethics, etiquette.
But, you know what? So we had Badlands Skate Park here, and when Badlands, when Danny and them opened up Badlands, they didn't expect the influx of rollerbladers, and they had to actually set up a second skate course. Like a second street course, just to deal with the influx. And I remember actual like legit fights happening in the skate park. Thankfully, it's not the case now. I don't think, but
I think that we creep back. We creep back down underground, and now the people that are involved in the still ride parks and everything, they have the proper etiquette, they have the proper respect, and they have an understanding of how to share a same facility and like without getting in the way and causing issues, So,
interesting. So you think that was where most of it was? You think that where most of the animosity was with etiquette? I thought that it just had to do with like image and like, that kind of thing. Personally,
I think it was probably a combination of us getting all of the limelight in the beginning of the X Games, when they technically would have been, and what they have been around decades longer than us. We were this brand new community, brand new sport, just flying out of the gate, and we have the main sponsored limelight.
Yep.
Yeah, so I think that there was a lot of the animosity came from that point of view, and then we had such young skaters. Like, I think that one of the mistakes that we made was like letting 14, 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds turn pro, and not really be seized as a traveling human being and doing shows and demos and knowing how to really put on a professional persona, and I think it annoyed the shit out of them.
Yeah, I mean, we had such a like. The thing is that I going back to the punk rock thing. Like the reason why I think I gravitated toward it is for the same reason that I gravitated toward toward the music that I do now. I mean, I DJ for a living, so it's kind of like it's all it's all a big mishmash of music. But my roots come from like listening to Sick of It All and all of these other bands. But they're outcasts, and for a long time, rollerblading was the outcast sport.
Yeah, for sure.
And we're back to it, I think.
We still are. It's healthy.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's the circle of life, right? I mean, it's like the analogy of the wave. The wave comes, you ride it, and then it disappears, and then you gotta paddle your ass back out there to catch the next one. So we're just in paddle mode right now. But I think that the swell's coming. So it's like I think we're at the point where we get to turn around and start paddling back towards the land and catch a wave again.
I love it. I think that the new, what was it, Soul for Arlo, and what else did you do? You've done a couple of them at this point.
Well, it started out. Okay, well, we relaunched Birth. I've popped Birth off like several times in my career now. Like it's my brand. I've held on to it. I never sold it out. I never Rollerblade wanted to buy into it when I started it back in the day. But man, it was the first skater owned brand. Like it was free of corporate poo, and I could do whatever I wanted with it. I could celebrate the skaters I wanted to celebrate, and I've always held on to the brand. And it's like this is actually like kind of its third revival at this point. I launched it in 92, 93, and then I relaunched it again in 96, 97. It went down for a minute because I had moved from California to Minneapolis. So I settled into Minneapolis for a year or two, and then I rebooted it up again. And then now, excuse me, now I'm booting it again but now I'm refocusing its mission. I think the first mission was let's have a skater owned brand. Like let's have a brand that has a voice for the skaters. And then my second mission during all the big hype was like let's locate the great skaters, and let's bring up that middle teen to regime. Let's get that next regime in line. And now our focus this go around is let's like really concentrate on the future, and let's celebrate our legends. And now that I'm pushing 50 at this point in my life, so at 47 years old, about to be 48 this year, I've got a plethora of children. Other legend friends of mine have children, and they're all in that ripe age of 6 to 10, 11, 12 years old, and our kids are starting to skate and loving it.
I love that. I think that it's a great time for a revival. My baby brother actually started skating when he saw me. He started skating around 5, and he became really good. He passed away a couple of years ago, but we're going to be doing some stuff. I appreciate it, but he wants one of the things that we're going to be working on is incorporating some sort of comp or some sort of event around rollerblading and around music that will actually work with like a nonprofit for suicide prevention and that kind of thing. So I love that this new revival is happening.
We'd love to be involved.
Yeah. Oh,
we'd love to be involved. We just did because now that we're concentrating on our legends, telling the story of our past, so the 2 lanes that seem to be open was just really focusing in on the 12 and under market, and then just and celebrating our legends, because the industry got so soft it couldn't maintain our legends. So we're just we're really working on reintroducing the stories that where we come from, like how this all began, why you do a soul grind, like everyone knows a soul grind, but does everybody today know where it came from, how it was created, why it was named? So that's the fun stuff that we're starting to do. And it started actually as a joke between Ray Mendez and I, who's my partner now in this third launch here with Birth and some other stuff that we're working on. But he was messing with me and told me I can't be doing a meso. I've had a knee surgery, so I was doing a lot of meso just to like warm my knee back up and get myself ready to roll here. But he's like, you can't be posting those mesos. I was like, oh, shut up, I can post whatever I want, just messing with them. And then he like tried to call out Dave Payne, like, and Dave Payne does like really sick Mizus. I was like, you can't call out Dave. I get you, my Mizus kind of suck, but whatever. And then so then I like went and did 12 Mizus in a row on 12 different objects just to be an ass, and like mess with Ray.
Nice.
And then I posted that. So then I posted, I was like, well, here's 12 Mizus on 12. So then just to like drive Ray nuts, I requested people to please start dropping Mizus and tag him in it, and then do Mizus for Ray. That his feed was just getting overwhelmed with people doing Mizus, right? So, just it's what brothers do to one another. So, but then seeing the reaction from around the globe and the amount of Mizus that were submitted and the amount of people that just started having fun with us and just enjoying skating again and just smiling and laughing about something as silly as doing a Mizu for Ray, really just like inspired me and and motivated me then to go like, wow, this is cool, because we found out the story behind the Mizu through it all with Tom Fry and Jess Danforth, Pat Parnell, Chris Garrett in a trip in Japan. We figured out, why they named it. Mizu is actually a Japanese word that means water. So there's a lot of cool backstories to all this stuff.
So you guys have become, or Birth has become, a historian brand for legends of rollerblading, essentially.
I guess so, and the name Birth like really makes a lot of sense. It's like it's the beginning, and then we're embracing all those kids who were born to roll. You know what I mean? So
for sure.
I guess it's just part of the mission. It's part of our mission to solidify our legacy through our children. Like it's and this legacy belongs, like this is our legacy. This belongs to our community. The legacy belongs to our community. The legends belong. These are our legends, and these are our stories. They all belong to us. And there's nothing better than to share them all with one another,
I
and
love it.
celebrate it.
How can people support Birth? Where can people find gear for Birth?
At birthlegend.com.
Birthlegend.com.
You can also follow birthlegend.com. And then you can follow us on Instagram at Birth Legacy. So at Birth Legacy. So you see we're playing with our legacy and our legends. So just kind of how we're doing it.
I love it.
And then we're also on Facebook, Birth Legacy Brand. So you can follow us there and keep up with what we're doing. You can follow my page at CE circa 1986, because that's right when I started, right there, 85, 86. So
that's
CE
awesome.
circa 1986. And you can I did an interview with Arlo here for the Soul. We got the full backstory.
It's fantastic. I watched it from front to back. It was a fantastic interview. It was such a treat to have two legends of the sport just sitting there talking about all of this history, that I'm just like, oh my God, I remember reading about that or talking about that, it was fucking great, dude.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I mean, we're having just as much fun, so I hope that everybody's enjoying it. But we had a great interview, and then now we're doing like once a month. The game plan is once a month. We're going to do our best to go in chronological order, even though the Mizu is out of order, but that's what spawned it. So we'll live with that. But the Soul Grind was really the first. Well, we were doing front sides and back sides.
I mean, this is a different computer, so it's fine. We'll get through it. What I want to do is, once we have all of these technical glitches out of the way, I want to bring you back on and do more stuff. I definitely want to do, and I want to bring Arlo and them and just do an entire series. I want to hijack. I want the hijack to be hijacked by all rollerbladers.
Okay.
So
yeah, let's do it. But so right now our mission is to, like, once a month celebrate a trick, try to go as in chronological order as we can. The Soul Grind, we were doing front sides and back sides prior to the Soul Grind. Like I was the first dude to slide down handrails, front side and back side. And then many followed suit, including Arlo and many others. But then it was Arlo and the Santa Monica crew that got together, and they knew that you could slide on the side, and then next thing you know, Corey Miller and those guys, they're locking them in. And then issue number 2, Daily Bread. There's Arlo on the cover doing the soul grind, and it's
I had that issue.
it was really like yeah. I mean, like in our like we were saying in our interview, like at first we were kind of biting off of skateboarding a little bit, but that the soul grind was really the first like really nice grinding body movement that really belongs to us, and it's become the staple of what we are and who we are, man. You see a silhouette of a soul grind, you automatically know that it's us.
Yep. That is exactly right. There's no confusing it. Is there enough of a
oh man, it belongs to our community, man, and that's why we're doing the celebrations here. And then next month I've got in contact with Steve Thomas from Scribe, and he was the first.
Oh God, stupid. Scribe is one of the OG brands. When we were talking about OG brands, Scribe is right up there. Scribe and RA, Rise Above, all of these bands, or all of these brands were just these are first gen brands. So Scribe definitely.
Yeah, this was the first, man. These were the first. So we're just going back because soul grind is still very popular today. And although there's huge differences in the way that it's performed, which is just like jaw-dropping and astounding from our top riders right now in the community. They're spinning in, they're spinning out, they're like taking them longer and farther and higher, and like it's absolutely unbelievable. But at its core and at its root, there still is a soul grind in the middle of what they're doing. So we're going to be doing. I got a hold of Steve Thomas, which is incredible, and from the Scribe guys out of Minneapolis, they were they were right there with us in the mix. And Steve is just a phenomenal street skater, and he really brought a lot to our community. And he brought us the acid soul. He really made the acid soul look
my favorite trick.
So stylish. He made it look so stylish and so good. So in May we'll be celebrating the acid soul. So it's time to throw a little acid on the soul.
Oh man, you know what? I hope that I can get back into it between now and then. Go ahead.
Yeah, we plan on interviewing Steve as well and get some backstory. So this is kind of this is gonna be a long play. It's a long play mission, but we ain't going nowhere. So
I love it.
Month by month we'll just add another one in, man.
Well, you know what?
And we're just gonna take our time connecting with people. We want to do.
You what?
We're going to take our time connecting with everybody. We want to make sure that we tell the story as truthfully and as real and accurate